You could usually count them on one hand. 2, 3, 4. And I'll tell you the truth, all of them that come have families that live in Lawrence and that come to the Friday prayer. Now we estimate based on the population centers that feed our university, our enrollment, that the percentage of Muslims or percentage of students in Lawrence, Kansas that are of Muslim parentage, that have at least one Muslim parent, is somewhere between 1 and 2% of the student population. Population is 30,000. That means 300 to 600 students on campus, we estimate, to be born in the United States of America with at least one Muslim parent. And we are only getting 4 to show up to our community functions. 4 out of somewhere between 300 and 600. And as I travel around the country, some communities are doing a little better, some are actually doing a little worse, if you can believe it. But throughout the country, the one thing we are noticing consistently is the great, great absence of homegrown American Muslims, even though they're in the majority. There's a great absent majority of Muslims in America. You know, some parents, they say, well, they'll come back when they're in their 20s or 30s or 40s. You know, they'll come back later on. But so far, history has shown that's not to be the case. Those immigrants that came in pretty large waves in the first half of the last century, their total was somewhere around 100,000 immigrants from 1900 to 1950 from Muslim countries came to America. By now, those immigrants have 3rd or 4th generation descendants. Again, they tended to originally have large families. You could imagine 2 Muslim parents coming in 1920 having what? 4, 5, 6, 7 children, each of them having their children, et cetera, et cetera. By now, that same family should have a family tree of 30, 40 individuals. Times 100,000 is 4 million. Where are those 4 million descendants? We don't see them. They're long gone. Sometimes you meet them. Sometimes I give lots of lectures throughout the United States. Sometimes somebody will come up to me and say, you know, my great-great-grandfather was a Muslim. Or, you know, my great-grandparents on this side of my family, they were Muslim. They've been completely absorbed into the society, and Islam is something long in their past. Through the past 50 years, there's been a large-scale, steady flow of immigrants to America from Muslim countries. And although the Muslim community has created many American Muslim institutions, like the Canadian Islamic Congress, for example, and MSA, and ICNA, and ISNA, and ANC, and CARE, MPAC, and so forth and so on, the religion has not really taken root in America. Because crucial to the vitality of any religious community is its ability to engage and attract converts and or descendants. Any community that cannot attract its converts and engage them or its descendants has to continually rely on immigration to sustain it. And such a community cannot rightfully be said to be really rooted in the society. So the question is, where have all the indigenous Muslims gone? Where have all the homegrown Muslims gone? This is a major, major question. You'd think it would be on the front page of every Muslim publication in America. You'd think that it would be the main topic, the principal theme at Islamic conferences. But time and time again, the issue is not discussed. It might be alluded to here and there, an oblique remark that seems to refer to this problem, but we don't see any real major effort to discuss this. And I really don't know why. Now, to be honest with you, brothers and sisters, I'm sort of worn out talking about it because It just seems like something our community doesn't want to discuss. And I often say that when I'm invited to a community to discuss this subject, I'm usually invited once. I get an invitation later, please don't give that lecture again, could you talk about something else? Talk about the purpose of life, or talk about your conversion experience, or talk about this or that, something to cheer us up. It is a serious problem. And for Muslims, those who have, deep faith in their religion, it's a major problem because in the Qur'an especially, it informs us, it says, save your children and your families, save yourselves and your families from a fire whose fuel is men and stones. From a fire for whom we ourselves are the fuel for that anguish that we suffer in the next life, and the false object of worship symbolized by stones. But it says, save yourselves and your families. And your families. And it's addressed to the community in the plural. Just doesn't mean you go out and save your own family. It's how go out there and work to engage and to address the next generation. But in any case, where have they gone? To tell you the truth, I noticed their absence from the day I first became a Muslim, but I had no clue. I had no clue where they are. And that's the end of my talk. Thank you very much. But what happened was something very interesting. It was just, some would say chance. I was sitting in the masjid one night in San Francisco. That's where I became a Muslim, and I was much loving the experience of being a convert to Islam. That first year and a half, when I was a Muslim, the masjid was my sanctuary. I went to it 5 times every day. I moved close to campus, so I could do that. It was a beautiful, mesmerizing experience attending the masjid. Then one day, after the camaraderie and the brethren-ship, it was really something else. And since I came from a somewhat dysfunctional family, it was great having all this love from fellow community members. So I became extremely attached to the mosque. And one night, we're sitting in the masjid, sitting in a circle like we always did after Ashraf prayer, talking and chatting. And then Muhammad, who's the oldest member of our community, he's about 40-something. He's from the Middle East. He informs us, as we're sitting in a circle, he says, brothers, my oldest boy turned 16 today. Now, Muhammad was the oldest member of our community, and his son was the oldest of the next generation. And we all started laughing, congratulating him, and praising him, etc. But his eyes were cast down to the carpet. And when he lifted them slowly, we saw big round teardrops dropping down his cheeks, making their way down his cheeks slowly. We all got quiet. And he looked at us and he said, brothers, I lost him. I've lost my son. And we knew what he was talking about. We saw it in the surrounding communities time and time again. Muhammad was a religious man. And he did his best to raise his child as he was raised. Somehow, he felt he had lost his son. And when I left San Francisco, his son still wasn't won back to the community. And a lot of times when we lose them, it's very hard.